Jane Veach is scheduled to go on trial for the murder of her husband this summer. Still ahead in this edition of Action News this evening, our consumer reporter BeBe Emerman and a panel of experts are ready to help you through some of your tax troubles.
And the temperature's already dropped about 15 degrees, and we have a freeze warning in effect for Atlanta and North Georgia tonight. We'll have your complete forecast details.
I'm consumer reporter BeBe Emerman. What kind of changes can you expect in the 1989 tax laws? We'll tell you about that and a lot more tax information coming up next.
Are you among the approximately 1.7 million Georgians who haven't filed a tax return yet?
If perhaps you're putting it off because you have questions or you're generally confused about something on the returns, now's your chance to get some free help from Georgia's top tax experts. It's Channel 2's annual tax tip hotline. And our consumer reporter BeBe Emerman is standing by live now with a lot of experts and all the details.
We have been very, very busy here, Don and Chris. The phones have been ringing pretty much constantly. As a matter of fact, we've gotten a few complaints throughout the afternoon of people not being able to get through. All I can tell you is that the phone lines will be up through the rest of the week. So if you can't get through right now, please keep trying. We will be here from 4 in the afternoon until 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday. Our number is 881-9955. There it is up on your screen. Now, these good people behind me are volunteers from the Georgia Society of CPAs. As you know, this is a very busy time of the year for them, but they are volunteering their time to try to help you with all of your tax problems. Nothing is too great for these people if you're confused about whether you can take the IRA deduction, whether you're interested in the earned income credit. These are the folks to ask. They know everything about it. And to tell you the truth, these days just about everybody needs tax help. When the law was simplified in 1979, it was supposed to make things easier, but just about everybody agrees it's really made things more complicated. Every year the law changes, and 1989 is no exception. Here are the things that are different. The amount of personal interest you can deduct has dropped to 20% this year. Next year it will be down to 10%, and in 1991 it will go away altogether. The personal exemption, however, has gone up to $2,000. So has the maximum amount you can contribute to a 401k. It is now $7,627. Full-time students can qualify as dependents regardless of income, but only if they're under the age of 24. On your 1989 return, you will have to list Social Security numbers or any dependent who is at least age 2. Failure to do this will result in a penalty, and the exemption will not be allowed. If you claim the child care credit, your child must be under age 13 instead of under age 15. And there's bad news if you have a home office. You can no longer deduct charges for the first phone line into your house, even if you use the phone primarily for business. However, there is good news for people who are incapacitated. The eligibility requirements for the $125,000 exclusion of gain on the sale of a primary residence has been liberalized, so check with your tax preparer to see if you qualify. And if you don't have a tax preparer, well, why don't you talk to one of ours? The number is 881-9955. We've been extremely busy all afternoon, but we are here to take your calls. The phones have been ringing pretty much constantly, but as we said, we'll be here throughout the week. Carlton Collins, you've been on the phone most of the day. What kind of calls have you been getting from people mostly?
Mostly we have a lot of people that are calling up to find out the status of their income tax refund. And there's a number you can call, 331-6572, and they'll let you know what the status is.
331-6572. We don't have that up, but that's a good number to know. Now, a lot of people, obviously, the best way to save on taxes is to try to lower your income. Everybody goes, oh, yeah, lower my income. But there actually are ways to do that, especially if you have investments, right?
There are some strategies that you can use. One of them is the certificate of deposit, which matures within 1 year or less. Suppose that we've invested $10,000 in a CD that matures this time next year. For the remainder of 1990, we'll be able to earn a high rate of interest, but that tax would not be deemed received until March 1991, and therefore we wouldn't need to pay taxes on it until April 1992 when you file your 91 income tax. That's a good tip.
Also, I understand contributing the most that you can to one of those tax-deferred savings plans, an IRA, 401k, so forth.
Well, the laws have changed recently, and a lot of people who aren't eligible to deduct an IRA, yet they may still contribute to an IRA, and the interest earned on that investment will continue to accumulate tax-free.
People also overlook that they may have some very big tax savings right up there in their attic, right?
That's right. One of the things I like to tell my tax clients is to donate to the Salvation Army or Goodwill. That's a good way to help the needy, clean out the closet, and generate a good tax deduction.
Very good. Thank you very much, and thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it. As we said, our tax experts will be here throughout the week. Once again, the lines are open from 4 in the afternoon until 9 o'clock at night. We had some people call before 4 today, and that was a little frustrating, so try to remember those times to avoid any frustration on your part. Monday through Friday, 881-9955. These good people will be here throughout the week to answer whatever questions you may have. As a matter of fact, I think when we get off, I may have a few questions to ask Don and Chris. What about you?
BeBe, I'm told we have a moment, so let me ask you a question I hear people ask a lot. If I don't get it done in time, what do I have to do to make sure I'm not penalized for that? Or is there any way to avoid being penalized for not getting your returns in on time? Maybe somebody could answer that before.
Yes. Basically what happens if you file an extension, is that correct? Now, if you can't get everything done on time, Mr. Collins, you file an extension, right?
Yes, you do need to file an extension, but however, you do need to go ahead and pay the taxes that you owe by April 15th because it's an extension of time to file, not an extension of time to pay.
What if you don't know exactly how much? Just an estimate?
Yeah, you need to give it your best shot at an estimate, but if you don't know for sure, you might want to overpay because you don't want to be stuck with those big penalties.
Very good, very good. A lot of people do get confused about that, Don and Chris. They think if you file an extension, that means you don't have to pay the tax. Would that it were so.
I had BeBe earlier if we could write off our dogs as dependents, but BeBe said no.
I said, no, I don't really think that's a great idea.
You know, BeBe, when they changed the tax law big time in 1986, a lot of cynics referred to it as the CPA Benevolent Tax Act of 1986.
Right.
So the people with you in the room there are giving some of that back, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yes, we really appreciate them donating their time this time of year. It's their busiest time of the year.
All right, BeBe, thank you, and thanks to those around you there for tax tips, 89 or 90 for 89 or whatever it is. As we continue on Action News this evening, leaders in West Germany are predicting an early vote on the reunification of the two Germanies.
And hundreds of millions of dollars worth of art is stolen in a daring raid at a Boston art gallery.